launch at your own risk. That has a whole new meaning today. We're at the Duck River National Wildlife Refuge. We're right off Kentucky Lake, and let me tell you a little story. This is the first time I've been fishing, first time I've been in a boat in over 2 months. Had a tree stand accident, fell out, crushed my ankle, and I've been laying at the house dreaming of getting in a boat and going out and chasing one of my favorite things, giant crappie. This place is full of them. I've caught them here before. I want to tell you more about it, but you're going to have to stay tuned because Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hey guys, my name's Crispin Powley, and I am so glad you're with me here today. Never mind the crutches, we're going to try to go fishing today for the first time in a couple months and not fall out of the boat. But let me tell you where I would land if I were to fall out. I am at Clear Lake. It is a small impoundment on the Duck River National Wildlife Refuge. It is a refuge that is off Kentucky Lake, off the Tennessee River. And in this state, in the state of Tennessee, we are very blessed to have several of these refuges throughout our state. Not only are they made to harbor wintering waterfowl and other wildlife, they also have some incredible fishing opportunities that are little known, and that's what I want to highlight today. Our refuges, our wildlife management areas, and they are just incredible fishing opportunities for you and your family. You can put a big boat in here, you can put a big aluminum boat in here, you can put a john boat, a kayak. There's a guy out there right now that beat me to the ramp this morning. He's in a belly boat, he's out there fishing. It is just, no matter what kind of watercraft you have, this is an incredible place to go catch some fish. And speaking of fish, we're gonna be looking for big crappie today. That's what I love coming here for. It's what I've been dreaming about since I got hurt. All I want to do is go catch some crappie and sit down with my family to some fresh fish. But not only are we going to teach you how to catch these crappie, we're going to get you this week's current fishing report from your local insider reporter. While I try to get this boat off the trailer and in this lake, I'm going to send you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner.
Hello everyone. Unfortunately, these lunar tables are showing poor fishing conditions both days of the weekend. The best chance to get those morning bites starts around 5:12 on Saturday and 6:05 on Sunday. Evening activity begins at 5:40 on Saturday and 5:27 on Sunday night. Look for the sun to rise at 7:47 and set at 6:37. And don't forget to turn those clocks back Saturday night 1 hour. Evenings will feature a moon that is 32% visible. Hang with us for freshwater and coastal information from around the region. Plus, MLF angler Mark Daniels Jr. joins us to answer this week's Ask the Pro question.
You know, so we've got a cloudy day out here, and that really can have some bearing on how these crappie are setting up around these trees. A lot of times, honestly, I would prefer a sunny day. They're going to really concentrate around shade. It is, according to this Lowrance TI depth finder, it is, the water is 65 degrees. They really should be biting right now. I like to reiterate what I said earlier. This is the first time I've been in a boat in 2 months since I broke my ankle. So I'm looking forward to it regardless, but I'm hoping we can get enough bites to kind of show you this technique, show you how you can apply it in other places like this and where you are. I'm gonna send you to a commercial break. I'm gonna get this boat, get ready, get over here, get headed out, and we're gonna come back and get some fish on camera.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide's wireless and easy-to-use XI3, Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist, Strike King, Taiwan On, Nitro Performance Fishing Boats, because champions aren't born, they're made.
Oh, that sucker's pulling. Oh, 12, 14 inches long probably over a pound and a half. Oh, that sucker's pulling. Come here. Come here. That's a big old sac-a-lait. Big old crappie. Oh. Fishing on one leg's different now. That's a pretty crappie right there. Old big slab. I don't know what that sucker got. He's 12, 14 inches long probably over a pound, pound and a half. We got some wildness going on at the boat ramp over here. Some folks, it's a steep ramp, shallow lake, and folks are hollering at each other. But here's the deal. These old big crappie are in here, and that's the thing. Like when I started coming down here, I didn't really know what to expect, but that right there will make you come back. Let me put this one in the box real quick. Talk a little bit about, that was a classic case. I hung my jig up, and when I popped it loose, I was actually kind of just thought the cast was over. Jack around, looked back, and that sucker went under, and I gigged him, and it was a big one. I thought it was another bass actually, and that is a case in point where your depth of your float, your retrieve, all that comes together to make it to get you some good bites. Let's talk about the depth of your float for a minute. Kind of rule of thumb is take the depth on your depth finder, and you know how far below, if your depth finder reads 3 feet, but your transducer is 1.5 feet below the water, it's 4.5 feet. So a good friend of mine once told me that if you'll put your float roughly, just kind of rule of thumb, you can adjust throughout the day, roughly the depth that your depth finder is reading, given that your transducer is normal, that's a good place to start. So you want that bait above them. Err on the side of shallower than deeper, and you're gonna get more and more bites. I'm gonna get re-rigged, fix this thing, and we're gonna go try to catch us another one of them big old sockeye.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Guadalupe River. Now this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you by MC Ranch. Not only is MC a great destination for whitetail hunters and exotic hunters, but if you want to catch a double-digit bass, you need to come and fish in one of their several lakes. Now, this week we've come to the beautiful Guadalupe River in order to catch the Guadalupe bass. This is one of the few places in Texas where the Guadalupe runs free, and you can catch one here using things like your rooster tail, your super dew, and other small spinny type lures. You'll want to use a spinning rig with about 6-pound to maybe 8-pound test tops. And a great location to do this is just outside Hunt, Texas. Now, we also want to talk about largemouth bass. We're going to go to Lake Tawakoni for those, and we're going to fish pretty shallow. We're going to fish along the dam and the points and any of the mouths to the little cuts and creeks and coves. And we're going to throw topwaters. We're going to throw buzzbaits. We're going to throw whopper ploppers. We're going to throw poppars, all of that until that bite plays out. And once it does, we'll go to our spinnerbaits and our Cincos. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by MC Ranch. Also a great place to have your corporate getaway. Be sure and check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Hey folks, Captain Greg Verm here for this week's Fox Southwest Outdoors Report. Hey, let's start this week's report down the lower Texas coast in Port Mansfield. Hey, Captain Wayne Davis, he was on the water this morning when I talked to him. Like the rest of Texas coast, high tide levels has Captain Wayne finding the majority of his fish on the Back Bay flats of Lower Laguna Madre. Hey, fishing over grass beds and potholes are the keys to successful trips down there. Hey, both reds and specks are being caught in these areas on K-Wiggler willowtails. Now also Captain Wayne said the flounder bite is extremely good around the East Cut. Hey, now let's move up to Baffin Bay. Captain Chris Elliott says the cooler weather really has the fishing heating up. Redfish and trout has been awesome along the Spoil Island next to the ICW. Topwaters are working the best for Captain Chris. Now the flounder bite, he said it's really coming on strong in the same areas. Slow bouncing soft plastics along the bottom is the key for the flounder. Hey, Captain Chris said fishing in Baffin will get only better and better with each passing front, and he is anticipating some awesome fall fishing in Baffin Bay. This week's report is brought to you by Fishing Tackle Unlimited. This is where I get all my fishing gear. If Fishing Tackle Unlimited don't have it, I don't need it. I'm Captain Greg Verm. I'll see you next time.
I got my line in a slab's mouth. It's another big quality crappie. I don't know, probably 12, 13 incher. There's one. Come here. got my line in the tree. Most importantly, I got my line in a slab's mouth. My goodness. It's another big quality crappie. I don't know, probably 12, 13 incher. And man, I got up here, up kind of shallower this time, fishing from, there's kind of a ditch that runs down this tree line, and it's a big flat up here. And I've been noticing a lot of minnows up here, little stuff breaking and busting. I'm gonna put him in the box real quick. You ever seen one-legged people fish? About the third cast I made up there, well, you saw it. I mean, I can't tell the story any better than what the camera probably will, but that fish just kind of pulled it under real gentle, and just another real quality fish. So here's another lesson for you. Don't get hung up. I mean, man, all these trees are pretty, and that's where I like to catch them because that's what's in my mind. But I paid attention to the conditions, to the minnows up here flipping around, and made a change and got away from what looked like the most obvious scenario. Caught a real nice crappie because of it. I'm gonna get rigged back up. We're gonna get right back after it.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with your Fox Sports Louisiana Outdoor Report, coming to you from Cajun Paradise Charters in Hackberry, Louisiana. Let's go all the way down to Breton Sound. I'll tell you what, old Brett R.D.'s been catching lots of redfish. These cold fronts are coming through. The redfish are starting to gang up, mouths of the cuts. Live shrimp, gold spoon, soft plastics on light jig heads seem to be the key there. Speaking of these fronts coming through, on the freshwater side, if you're a river fisherman, Calcasieu River, Sabine River, when these fronts blow through, wind comes out the north, look for moving water. These marshes are going to be draining out of these little small creeks and stuff. Should bring some dark, clear water way back out of the marsh. Throw spinner baits, small crankbaits, and I'll tell you what, you're going to catch lots of bass. For Cajun Phil, Captain Kevin Broussard saying happy fishing, may God bless, and see you next week.
You know, and another thing when you're fishing this float is, you know, there's a lot of variables that you've kind of got to experiment with. Just kind of trust your instincts, let the fish tell you what they want. But for instance, the cadence, you know, you've kind of got to play around. Sometimes they want it aggressive, where that little jig underneath of it's moving a whole lot. Sometimes I've caught them where they just wanted it just slowly pulled, where it's just swimming along. And a lot of times, after you shake that float, what you see that float do is what that jig's doing. After you shake that float and let it sit, can't tell you how many big ones I've caught when that thing's sitting just dead still. So, you know, listen to the fish. If you catch 3 or 4 of them really shaking it, then shake it. If you aren't getting bit really shaking it, try a different retrieve. Don't get stuck on what you want to do. You'll listen to them. They'll usually show you what they're liking that day. There's one. Another good crappie right there.
We'll be right back in just a moment. First, though, we want to pass along some of your big catch of the week photos. These entries didn't win, but we still wanted to share some of the great fish catches from around the area. Be sure to stick around for this week's winner at the end of today's show. We're coming right back.
Outdoors is brought to you by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder, Balls Out, made in the USA, heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
I'm not good with the net. Come on, net. I mean, that is a pan. I mean, a frying pan size crappie. There's one, right? That's a toad. No, that's a bass. Well, we'll take that too. On 4-pound line. Come here, fella. It's hard on a one-legged man right here. Chunky little bass. He was up there where my crappie are supposed to be, but he did the same thing they do, and if he's long enough, he may get the same thing they get. This is an eating trip for me. This is a you know, pretty. I'll tell you what, just because I'm a purist, I'm gonna let him go, because I'm gonna try to keep some crappie today. So consider yourself lucky. Not everybody would do this for you. You know, the cool thing about these little public lakes is, there's one other boat out here today. One. Now, we're right on the edge of Kentucky Lake, and I can hear boats running up and down the river like crazy. But you could come in here with this aluminum boat, a small aluminum boat. I've put a 21-foot bass boat in here. I've put a kayak in here. Not only do you have the Duck River National Wildlife Refuge where we are today, but you also have the Hatchie National Wildlife Refuge, as well as Chickasaw National Wildlife Refuge in West Tennessee, that offer fishing opportunities. And what I want to tell you is those opportunities are good. There's tons of bluegill, crappie, bass, catfish, really, really good smaller bodies of water, public bodies of water. You can take your family, big boat, little boat. It's just a really good time. And as well, in the state of Tennessee, we have somewhere about 100 WMAs, as we call them, or wildlife management areas, that most of them offer fishing opportunities as well. But what I want to encourage you to do is just get on tn.gov and check out what's near you, because I'll almost bet you there's something near you that will give you a place to go to get off the beaten path and have a great time like we've done today. I will also encourage you to check with your local regulations where you're going. But these little WMAs, refuges, state park lakes in Tennessee are incredible. I'm gonna get my stuff fixed because Mr. Billy Bass wrecked it for me, and then we're gonna get after these crappie.
Hey, I've got a couple of lakes here in Oklahoma that I'm hoping you can put on your list to check out pretty soon. One of those is Lake Arcadia. The Wildlife Department completed a recent survey there of its saugeye population and found it to be really in pretty good shape. They showed a lot of fish in that 14 to 19 inch range. Now, a saugeye has to be 14 inches at Arcadia to be able to keep it, so some good keepers showing up. And what's really cool about that species is you can catch it on both artificials and live bait. Artificials go with a crankbait, go with a grub. Live bait, your minnows and your night crawlers work really well for saugeye. Now, most of those fish were being seen around the sandstone outcroppings, the windy points, and the gravelly shorelines. You're allowed 6 saugeye legal size on Arcadia at this time. Now, crappie guide Mike Scarborough from Broken Bow says the crappie fishing has been good on that lake in recent days. The better fish are coming from the lower end of the lake, but deep, 20 to 30 foot around the piles. Best bait, best color for he and his clients has been the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, Pink Phantom, and Monkey Milk colors. As you can see here with Mike Etheridge from Weatherford, Texas, had a good outing with Mike Scarborough just recently on Broken Bow. Now, Mike said you can go into the river in the upper end of the lake, probably catch more fish, but not as big, and they are a little bit shallower there, 20 foot deep. Same 2 colors are working best at Broken Bow. Fishing's starting to really get better now as these water temperatures are dropping. You can catch them, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
Good one right there at the boat. Oh, I forget I got a net. I'm not good with the net. Come on, net. Whew. That is a good crappie. I'm telling you, I hadn't caught many little ones today. If that kind of crappie right there don't make you happy, you probably need to take up saltwater fishing. These right here, every one I've caught today has been a good one. I mean, that is a pan. I mean, a frying pan size crappie. So here's what I'm gonna do. I've got a mess of crappie in the box to clean. My ankle is throbbing. This is the first day I've been up on it in a boat. Hadn't used crutches all day, hopped around in here, but I have had a ball.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and the follow button on Twitter, and watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free Waypoint TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Request our free 2019 fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Lose, feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland, the best in bass and crappie lures, heads to tails. Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional insiders. Tommy wants to know, who influenced you more than anyone else in your fishing career? For the answer, we asked MLF angler Mark Daniels Jr.
I'm gonna mention a guy who's a really close friend of the family, one of my dad's close friends. His name's Doug Rogers, and he's the one that introduced me to bass fishing. And I'd say he was the most influential because at the time, he was fishing local tournaments and he was a really, really good fisherman. But in my mind, you know, he was like the baddest fisherman ever. But he took the time aside to take me out and introduce me into tournament fishing, fished my first tournament with him. And man, that's what really set the fire under me and got me going. And so I'm gonna have to give that one to old Dougie. We call him Dougie. I'm gonna have to give that one to old Doug Rogers, man. He's certainly a huge influence in what I do.
Thank you, Mark. If you have something to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now let's take a look at this week's Big Catch winner.
This week's winner is
Larry Jones of Calhoun, Louisiana, showing an 8-pound largemouth bass he caught at Caney Creek Lake in Louisiana. To enter the contest, go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fox Sports Outdoors and find our post from last Tuesday. Post your photo along with the details of your catch, and you could have your big fish shown here on our show.
Let me take a minute and tell you about the gear you need to make this happen and make it work easy. You know, I'm out here on 1 foot, the wind's blowing, I'm fishing targets, and I'm a bunch of targets that are close together. I could not be successful like I have been out here today without those power pole blades. I've got the stomp pedals, the 2 independent, 1 down, 1 up pedals. I've got the dual power poles, and I don't have to worry about staying on the trolling motor in the wind. I don't have to worry about, while I'm fishing one target, the wind blowing me to another target. I don't even have to worry about moving. When I catch a fish, I drop the power poles, fight the fish in, put him in the live well, pick right back up where I left off. If you are not utilizing these power pole blades in your fishing, you're at a disadvantage. You know, about 2 months ago, I had an accident. I was working on a deer stand and I fell and just destroyed my right ankle. Had to have surgery, have it rebuilt, physical therapy. Literally today is the first time since that accident that I've been in a boat, that I've been on the water. And I want to tell you something. When you think about fishing, everybody's out there for how many you catch and the excitement and the action. What you should never ever overlook is just the healing power. I'm telling you, getting out in God's creation, getting some serenity, some quiet, taking in some fresh air. Guys, it is a gift that is given to us for good reasons, and I urge you to get out and take advantage of it. I hope that you learned enough that you feel like you could come here and catch some too. Get back with us next week. Barry's going to be with you. Until then, I'm finna eat some crappie tonight, and God bless y'all.